Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another one of my videos. Today I am doing my very first top 5. I'm going to be doing a top 5 of my personal favorite figures in my collection. It's really not based off any particular grouping. There's a DC, a couple of Marvel Legends, a couple of Star Wars Black Series, but I'm just going to launch right into it and show you my personal favorite figures in my collection. Starting off with number 5, we have the DC Multiverse 6-inch Flash. This actually came in a 2-pack. It was the New 52 comic book Flash, came with a couple of accessories, as well as it came with the Justice League Ezra Miller Flash, which I don't like as much as I like this one. I'm not 100% sure why I love this Flash so much, other than the fact that the lines on it are very crisp. I like the paint job. It's got very good articulation. Even though they are single jointed, the figure looks very nice. The shoulder articulation is fantastic for a wide range of motion, more so than any Flash figure that I've had previously. And I just think it looks really nice. I make sure to keep it as one of the mainstays on my shelf unless I get too many new figures and this one doesn't quite fit. So that is number 5. Number 4 is going to be the Marvel Legends Vintage Collection Wolverine. Now, I have been looking for a very nice Wolverine to add to my collection, and I finally found this guy discounted at GameStop, and I said, yep, let me have it. It's a very nice paint scheme. I've always been a bigger fan of this color scheme, the yellow and brown, as opposed to the black and blue and yellow, which I do still appreciate, but this was always my favorite Wolverine growing up. The articulation is very nice on this thing. It's got the shoulder pivots here, so you have a really nice range of motion for the claws. You can get him back like he's ready to slash, or you can have him up and in front of him threateningly. He also came with another head without his mask, and he came with a little folded back mask that you could drape over his shoulders, which is very nice. The claws are a sturdy material. If you get them in the right spot, don't let them fall over, don't knock them, because they will skew in many different directions. But not often. I haven't been able to remove them, but I also don't really want to try. I like the head sculpt on this guy. Overall, it's a very nice figure. Number 4. In third place comes my third favorite figure. This is the black suit Marvel Legends 6-inch SpiderMan. He didn't come with any accessories other than another hand and a couple of pieces of Sandman, I think, but for the build-a-figure. But he just came with a couple of other hands, and that was it. But this figure is freaking awesome. The posability is wonderful. The shoulders do the classic Spider-Man thing I also mentioned with Wolverine, where they can go in and out. He's got double jointed elbows, which is great for specific poses. He's got nice wide stance, flat feet. It's a very good Spider-Man figure. The black suit has always been my favorite suit of the Spider-Man wardrobe, so I was really happy to come across this one. Just an overall nice figure. In spot number 3. Coming in second place. You may think this is cheating, and you may be right, but I have 2 figures in second place because I could not pick one favorite out of these 2. I love both of these figures to an unspeakable degree. We have the Black Series 6-inch Kanan Jarrus, Jedi Knight, and we have the 6-inch Black Series Ahsoka Tano, both from the Rebels Season 2. Well, if you look at Kanan's shoulder pad, it doesn't have the scratchy gut fighting. a particular Darth Lord from Season 2, so that's a little nitpicky thing, but honestly, I could care less. These two figures are absolutely phenomenal for me. I do have Ahsoka on the base that came with the previously mentioned Ezra Miller Flash from Justice League. She has tiny feet, so it's very hard to stand her up without the assistance of some kind of foot peg or something. But she comes with her dual white lightsabers as seen in Star Wars Rebels. Her Leku, the head tails that she has, do kind of restrict some of the movement of her head, but if you can get her in a nice pose, you don't really have to mess around with it. She's got good articulation, but again, the smaller feet kind of make it hard to move the feet into any position that work well. I love the paint job on her. This is pre-face scan technology for Hasbro, and yet they still somehow managed to capture the face looks of these digitally computer animated introduced characters and transform them into something that stands in line and looks like it could match up with actual film scene characters. That was my Black Series Bespin Luke, who you will possibly see in the next segment, which is honorable mentions. These would be three figures that I would have put on my list if I didn't love the other figures so much. Not the best figures in the world, but in my opinion, I do love the Bespin Luke. This was a somewhat hard one to find, and being an earlier member of the Black Series line, it doesn't have the best articulation. I'd like a Luke with double jointed elbows, but I understand that single looks a lot better. I love that he comes with his little blaster, his lightsaber. The face sculpt is not exactly Mark Hamill, but I heard someone say once that Mark Hamill does not have the best recreatable face, and that's nothing against the guy. Mark Hamill's kind of my idol, but I just love that figure a lot for some reason. And then you have the Marvel Legends Amazing Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 2. This guy came with a couple of thwip hands. He's got really nice shoulders. It's a very skinny, lanky Spider-Man, but anytime I need a Spider-Man figure, I like this guy right here. I'm not sure why, and if I got another classic suit Spider-Man, I'm sure I would use that more, but I don't. And then this guy right over here, we have the DC Collectibles. I actually have the review of this guy up on my channel already. But this is the DC Collectibles Greg Capullo Designer Series Nightwing. This figure is huge in scale compared to the 6-inch figures, because this is on a 7-inch scale, I believe. It's a bit heavy, a bit clunky. Hard to stand up because it lacks articulation that smaller figures, for some reason, have a bit more of. And I've said before in another video, I think the DC Collectibles line is vastly inferior in terms of articulation. One of these hands, actually I think both of them, broke off the figure very easily when I first got it, so they are glued on and they don't articulate, so that's a sad thing. But I do love the face sculpt and the hair and just the way it looks like when Nightwing showed up in Batman Court of Owls in the red suit. And those would be my 3 honorable mentions. And last but definitely not least, at number 1 spot is the Walgreens exclusive Darth Vader. Now, this doesn't look exactly like the Vader that everybody's seeing on the shelves currently. This is actually the Return of the Jedi Darth Vader, and when I got him, this is a bit of a custom. His head was see-through with a skull in it, as if you were getting lightninged by the Emperor. And I took a little bit of time and I just a bit of Sharpie and turned his entire head black. Because I didn't like the purple design, but I did like his Empire Strikes Back / Return of the Jedi look, where the fabric tabard doesn't come over the shoulder armor. It's just the armor itself. And you can see when the light hits it in certain ways that there were some spots I couldn't quite get to with the Sharpie, but for the most part, when you're looking at it from far away, you've got the silver in the nose and on his grill. So I definitely like that. And he comes with a removable hand if you ever have him fighting Return of the Jedi Luke and you want to recreate that scene where Luke cuts off his hand in a glorious bit of Sith-inspired payback. But he says no. He says, I'm a Jedi. Like this dude, before he got the dope black duds. But I love this figure so much. I have grappled with the idea of getting one of the Rogue One Black Series Vaders that they have out now. And, I don't know. I feel like it just wouldn't hold up to this thing. I love it so much, and the fact that it's a little bit of a custom kind of makes it mean more to me. The fabric goods on this thing are wonderful. It's got the little inner thigh cape, and then you've got the bigger cape all together. I have it pinned back just so it doesn't take up too much of other characters' spaces on my shelf. And it's got these nice little weights that help the cape not fly away too easily in a bit of a windy room. But this is definitely my favorite of all of my 6/7-inch scale figures. And there you have it, folks. That is my top 5 favorite figures in my collection. I love each of these things so much, and I don't know if I'm going to be doing another top 5 video, probably. I think I'm going to start going back and just reviewing figures that I've already taken out of the box. So it's not really an unboxing, but just kind of giving my thoughts on them since I've had them after a while. I've had already a couple of requests for certain figures that I have to do a review of them, so do something like that. But this was just a fun little video. I wanted to showcase some of my favorite figures and what I thought of them and why. So go ahead and drop your comments in the comment section. Go ahead and like the channel, like the video, subscribe, and just have a wonderful rest of your day. Don't let anybody get you down with their crappy opinions that everyone seems to have these days. Just be well, enjoy life, have fun. And thanks for watching.